anchor light that came with our boat was one of those crappy little plug-in deals where the stanchion, the light on top of it, is removable for storage. It's the kind you see on like a little runabout or something. The same kind people remove, put in storage, and don't use for 7 years until they get ready to sell the boat, and then they go looking for it. Anyway, it was poor quality. The base leaked water over the years and caused some rot, which we repaired. And it wasn't really tall enough to see over the upstairs bridge. So if somebody was coming toward the front of the boat at night, they couldn't see the anchor light. And that was from the factory. But anyway, we sealed up the hole, and now it's time to put a proper anchor light. It needs to be high enough where it can be seen over the bimini top and over the sunshade we put in the back. So this is a video of how I made a little bracket to attach to the sunshade to get us a proper anchor light. Got 3 of these antenna mounts from different projects. Only one is stainless steel, the other 2 are some sort of crappy metal. But all 3 of them are missing the part that goes on the bottom of the antenna, probably because they got thrown away when I threw away the antennas a few months ago, not knowing that I would ever need them. So I'm going to try to rob one of these and see if it'll lock up with this, but I don't think it will. Used parts from all 3 of those old mounts, and I think I got something that'll work. Assuming this is the little rod that the anchor light will be mounted on, and assuming this is coming straight out towards the front of the boat, I can have the mast sticking vertical, or I can lower it down and get it out the way, just like that. I need to weld this, which is stainless steel, onto this pipe, which is stainless steel, which will clamp to the vertical aluminum top support that's back in the back. So before I weld this standoff onto this bracket, I need to put a nut in there to be able to attach it to the aluminum stanchion. I'm going to weld this round, which is basically just a big nut, inside the pipe, and then when I drill through the aluminum stanchion, I'll be able to run a bolt and thread it in there. And I've got 2 plates just to kind of keep everything lined up. So this one's just going to sit in the back. It's not going to be welded, but this one up front is going to be welded. And I hope it'll be right, because it ain't going to be easy to get out. Okay, so I'm holding the bracket up 90 degrees to the table. I've put a temporary bolt through the aluminum pipe. This is the same pipe that the stanchions on the back sun cover are made out of. So this is exactly how it's going to be mounted, except it won't have a long bolt. And I'm going to put this right there. I'm going to put a couple tacks on it, and then I'm going to take it all apart and cut all the extra stainless steel away, and then weld it around the perimeter. But I don't want to cut it first, because I'll never get it right, I don't think. So
I got it tacked on there. I cut the excess off, some with the bandsaw and some with the grinder with the cutoff wheel. I cleaned the joint. I removed all the extra parts, and I'm protecting the threads and that little waffle thing with this extra nut and washer just for protection. And I'm going to weld it all the way around, and then I'm going to get it good going over with the flap disc, and then this piece will be ready to mount on the boat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a work of art. Pretty proud of myself here. This is basically ready to be brought to the boat and bolted on. What's left to do now is to decide what sort of stanchion between here and the anchor light and how tall it's going to be, and running the wires. And I was kind of thinking about putting a bracket on this so I could also hang an American flag. It's a beautiful morning on the river. It's a little chilly. I'm ready to mount this right here. This will be the down position, and this will be the up position. So all I need to do really is to drill a hole as straight as possible that way. So it's mounted and it looks good. What I need now is to make a mast, say 5 feet long. That ought to be good. 5 feet long, and then I need to run a wire. I think I'm gonna run it inside the column, under the handrail, to the bottom side of this deck, and then I can drill from the bottom and get into the deck. And the wire is right beneath this little square plate right here. That's where the old anchor light stand that caused the rot was. It was leaking. Okay, this old SSB antenna is going to be my anchor light stand, providing it's hollow in the middle. I don't know, the bottom half was not hollow and I couldn't get a wire through it, but the top half, this is the top half, I think it's hollow, so I'm going to cut it to the right length and see what we got. It cuts super easy. There's not much to it. It is fiberglass and it is hollow, and I can pull the existing wire out so I can put the new wire in for the anchor light. What I will have to do is glue a round plate up here for the anchor light itself to mount, and on this end I will either have to plug it and drill it and tap it, because it has to sit right on top of this, or I'll just embed a bolt with epoxy and do that. I may just embed a bolt, that might be easier. Alright, I'm doing this the easy way. I'm going to use this stainless bolt, which fits in the bracket. I've shoved a paper towel down in there, a little bit below the length of the bolt. I'm going to fill this with epoxy and drop the bolt in, and I can center it with that washer, and when the epoxy's dry, I'm done with this end. So when I made my dashboard for the houseboat, I kept the little cutouts from what the hole saw made, and it's going to be just right to mount that light on. So I'll drill a hole, I'll set it over the top of the post. Whoops. Alright, so I got the little circle drilled out the right size, and it fits nice and tight. Probably doesn't even need glue, but a little glue will help. And then basically the rod is ready to wire and mount to the boat, and needs a coat of white paint. It's pretty old and funky.
So off camera, I gave the little shaft a light sanding and some white paint. I also purchased some legit marine wire, made soldered connections with heat shrink tape, and fished them down the rod and out a hole in the side of the rod. And now I have to, I'm going to try to fish them through the big pipe to underneath this deck and make the connections where the original anchor light was. I have a terminal block underneath that. In fishing the wire down through the big pipe, I drilled the same size hole that I drilled fishing the wire through the little fiberglass mast, but in this case I was not able to fish it out of the hole. I guess because the material's thicker and didn't want to go around that, didn't want to make that sharp bend. So I ended up stripping the wire back just a couple of inches and just exposing one of the two wires at the very end. And I was able to get it close to the hole, grab the wire with the circlip pliers, and pull it out. So there, after that, it was just a matter of fishing all the wire through there carefully so I wouldn't cut the insulation cover.
All right, so I'm laying underneath the overhang, and if I remember correctly, we put a new 2x4 here, and I put a new 1x here at this joint because I had this off. So I think if I drop this light, there'll be a space. So I can drill up from the end down there, put the wire up and run it to me, and there should be a junction box above this light with the anchor wire terminal to it. So let's see. All right, so this is beautiful. So I have dropped the anchor light down, and two of the wires here go to the, well, I'm sorry. So I have dropped this convenience light from the overhang. Two of these wires go to the convenience light and two of them go to the anchor light. And I do have a space right in here. So if I drill a corresponding hole down there, should be able to fish a wire.
Well, the dang thing works. We do have an anchor light. It works. It's controlled by a switch on the front dash. I was able to pull the wire. I just need to put the convenience light back and put some P-clips and sort out this other wire. And this is a good little project that's complete.